I mean, I'm an engineer, the numbers speak for themselves. If the budget for the critical services and the salaries are that, how are we gonna explain to our police and firemen that what they've done for so many years without a raise or increase, and the lowest paid in the area, Tommy, how are we gonna break that news to them if your plan's gonna work?
I was not privileged to generate or to design the $105 million budget. So you asking me something that I have no knowledge of, other than the.
I just heard you say that the budget would be 105 if you were chairman.
No, I'm accepting the fact that that's what the county announced. I accepted that the budget is gonna be 105 million as far as revenue and 115 million on expenditures. I'm saying that the experience I've got, the budget would be balanced from the top to the bottom. Now, you can do that without jeopardizing public safety.
I'd have to see your math because I can't.
Okay, I would have to see it too. That's what I'm saying.
BJ, your response to that same question?
That's why we need experience in office right now, because mathematically, that cannot happen. If you want to continue the same level of service you have today, the same public safety, same fire department, same parks and recreation, same senior services that we've already cut as far as we can cut to still keep them in place and functioning as they need to meet the needs of our citizens. It can't work under that scenario. It's easy for any candidate to stand up here and say that that can happen, but I can tell you, we've been working on this budget for months and months and months, and there is no way that we can mathematically do that and keep this county with the same level and quality of services that we have today. I'm not willing to jeopardize the safety of our citizens, and I don't think our citizens want their public safety jeopardized either, because if we end up cutting the fire department budget and your ISO rating shoots up, I can tell you it's gonna cost you far more in money than you are gonna pay in taxes, because with the increase that is potentially coming, you're still gonna pay less tax this year than you paid last year with the same level of services. So to cut that and risk losing our ISO rating, or worse, risking losing someone's life, because nobody wants to have enough guts to stand up and say in this county, we need $115 million to run this county. Somebody's gotta have enough guts to stand up and say that. That's what it costs for services. Are you willing to pay the price? Do you want to keep our community strong and safe and viable and a good place to live? That's the question you have to ask yourself. And I'm willing to stand up here and say, we need this amount of money to make our county work and continue to be a place that I'm going to enjoy living and that my children will enjoy having a good quality of life. That's not a popular thing to say. It's not a popularity contest. It's here to tell you the truth. This is the situation. That's why you need to put an experienced person in office, somebody that will have enough intestinal fortitude and stand up and say, that's how it is.
Minute and a half.
Okay, yes, please go ahead.
This is for BJ. You said where to cut, and I'm thinking Nash Farms, Terra Field.
I'm so glad you asked that.
May I finish it?
Yes.
Nash Farms, Terra Field, the bank building, and there was one more. The airport. Yes, the airport. No, I said Terra.
I'm so glad.
I'm
so glad.
And you sound to me, I know you're a registered Republican, but you sound to me just like a Democrat when you stand up there and you say to the group, you know, oh, we're gonna have to cut senior services, i.e. Obama and Social Security. Oh, we're gonna have to cut the police and the fire department, i.e. Obama and the military. You know, I'm sorry.
No, that is an absolute fact. If we don't have that budget, those are the services we will have to cut. That's
Because
not
you're not willing to cut in other areas.
All right, let me explain some of these land purchases, because then again, here's where that propaganda gets thrown out here and people don't do their homework. The Nash Farm bought with impact fees. How many of you bought your house after 2004? How many of you bought?
I am sorry, BJ.
Oh, no.
I saw the check. It came out of the
No,
general
sir.
fund.
No, sir. I'm gonna sit there and tell you that you didn't do your homework, Mr. Stanley. Because the check was paid out of general fund to the property. When the case was settled, it was reimbursed. It's reimbursed out of impact fees. A loan was taken out and impact fees is paying the bill on Nash Farm
But we're still paying for it.
out of impact fees. Is that true, Mike? We have an impact fee fund,
And we're still paying for the $8 million.
It was financed for 10 years, and impact fee funds pays the note every month on Nash Farm, just like it does Mosley, just like it does Sandy Ridge. That is absolute truth, and if you don't believe it, you get with Mike in the finance department, and that, again, that's where information gets messed up. If we collect impact fees on, how many bought a house after 2004? All right, you paid an impact fee. Anybody who bought your house before 2004, you didn't pay it. It's an $1,800 fee paid on every house built in Henry County. There's also a fee assessed to every business built in Henry County. It goes in a special fund. Those funds can only be spent on libraries, parks and recreation, and public safety. You cannot spend them for any other purposes. So when a need comes up for library, public safety, or parks and recreation, those funds are spent there. It's a special
Well,
fee.
you're saying public safety, I mean, that's your fire
No,
department,
it's
police department.
it's a percentage, and it cannot be used for salaries. This building here was built with impact fees. It was bought and remodeled with impact fees that were set aside, that percentage that the law allows for public safety. It was used for that. You cannot supplant your budget. You can't hire personnel. You cannot pay salaries. You cannot pay benefits. So impact fees have very strict guidelines on how they can be
How were
spent.
they set up?
You got
Who set
about
up the guidelines for the
7
impact
minutes.
fees?
They've already
Mike,
been
state law.
talking since.
State law.
State law?
State law dictates how those fees can be spent. And it's the same thing with SPLOST. Golf course was paid for, 50% of it was paid for with SPLOST, which is your special purpose local option sales tax.
Where the other
And
50% go?
the other
2 minutes left.
50% is going to be paid for in the future SPLOST.
2 minutes
program.
left.
And that was not done to buy a golf course. The administrative services for Henry County must be inside the city limits of McDonough. That was for the future of Henry County. There was no recession at the time that was purchased. We were trying to be visionary and look ahead to see the needs 20 years down the road when commissioners were seated there and they're scrambling trying to catch up like we tried to do at the height of our growth. So it was the future of Henry County. It wasn't a golf course. Now, we can board it up and we can let it grow up and we can let it just sit there and draw crime or whatever, or we can let somebody lease it and at least get some income back off of that.
BJ, let me interrupt right now.
Oh.
You've had quite a bit of time, but what we'll do, I want to go through the cast of characters, okay, and give everybody a chance. And then when we're done, come on
Okay.
back here and do this, okay? But
Okay.
Tommy, we've got 2 minutes left.
Okay.
You get 2 minutes, Tommy. to
I got 2
finish up.
minutes.
And then listen, guys, BJ will be back to discuss these very issues with you. This is very important. I just feel like I have a commitment to those people who also been sitting here waiting for their chance to talk, so I'm sorry about that, but
That's okay.
I'm just trying to be fair to everybody.
I'm
okay?
glad I kept it under 8 minutes.
I will make my statement. Needless to say, I didn't purchase any of this for the Whitman office. But the prerequisites of my presentation was, I obviously think a lot of Ronald Reagan. I did a lot of reading about Ronald Reagan. I remember when he took over the governor of California, they was in like a $30–40 million deficit. So Ronnie took over. So Ronnie did the budget. So Ronnie sent the budget over to the president of University of Southern California, or Berkeley, or whatever college it is. So Bill, lack of the real name, he called over and said, Ronnie said, I can't run this college on that amount of money. And Reagan said, well, you got to do it. Don't cut services. Everything got to be the same, but run it on that amount of money. That's all you're gonna get. He said, I can't do it. He said, okay, thank you. So about 3 or 4 days later, Ronnie sent Charles over there. Billy called back to Ronnie and said, what happened? Said, Charles just took over. Said, I don't understand. Why are you getting rid of me? And he said, yes. He said, Charles said he could run that school on the amount of money I'm giving him. So I'm saying, assuming the $105 million is the number that Fred came up with, and I can tell you, I went into Henry County with $105 million and cut nothing.
Thank you.